Oh friends, I want to speak to you about three states we pass through without noticing when to stop. There is the raw, the cooked, and the burnt. Each has its place, each has its dangers, and confusion arises not because heat is wrong, but because discernment is lost. Many flee the fire too early, others remain too long. Wisdom lies not in avoiding heat, but in knowing when transformation is complete. The raw resists the fire. It says, "I am fine as I am." It fears change because change threatens its shape. Rawness values preservation over purpose. It wants to remain intact, even if it remains unusable. Many souls live here, protecting identity, defending habits, mistaking firmness for truth. The raw believes that survival is the goal. It does not yet know that survival alone is not fulfillment. O seekers, when heat is first applied, protest arises immediately. Discomfort feels like injustice. Pressure feels like an attack. The raw does not understand that it was never meant to remain as it is. It carries potential, not completion. But potential, left untouched, feeds no one. The fire does not arrive to humiliate the raw. It arrives to awaken it to its next state. Then comes the cooked. This is the moment when resistance gives way to cooperation. Hardness softens. What was rigid became responsive. The cooked can be received. It nourishes. It no longer fights the heat because the heat has done its work. This is the state of wisdom. Knowledge embodied, experience integrated, form aligned with purpose. The cook does not boast. It simply serves. Oh friends, many of you reach this state and do not recognize it. You continue to seek more fire, more pressure, more intensity, believing growth must always hurt. You forget that transformation has seasons. What once softened now begins to scorch. Heat that was necessary becomes excessive. The cooked remains because it mistakes endurance for virtue. O seekers, this is where the danger of being burnt appears. Burnt is not refined. Burnt is exhausted. It has stayed in the fire after readiness. What was once nourishing becomes bitter. What once served becomes rigid again, but in a different way. Burnt carries the memory of fire, but none of its benefits. It mistakes intensity for depth and sacrifice for truth. I have seen people burn themselves by refusing to leave the fire. They believe suffering proves sincerity. They fear ease, rest, and integration. They continue to break themselves long after breaking was needed. This is not devotion. It is a misunderstanding. The fire was never meant to be home. It was meant to be a passage. O beloved ones, discernment is knowing when to step out. The raw must endure heat. The cooked must leave it. Wisdom lies in recognizing which stage you are in. If you leave too early, you remain hard. If you stay too long, you are ruined. Both errors come from fear. Fear of change or fear of rest. I learned this when I remained in struggle after struggle, believing hardship was proof of faith. I did not notice that the lesson had already been learned. The heat continued. but nothing changed except my exhaustion. Only when I stepped away did I realize that the fire had completed its task long before I acknowledged it. Oh friends, life will apply heat appropriately until you learn to listen. When you do not recognize readiness, life may overcook you until bitterness teaches what wisdom could have taught gently. This is not cruelty, it is insistence. The path insists on awareness. Ask yourselves honestly, are you still raw, resisting every discomfort? Or are you cooked, ready to nourish, yet still punishing yourself with fire? Or are you burnt, mistaking depletion for depth? These questions are not judgments. They are invitations to step into alignment. O seekers, transformation is not endless pain. It is a precise change. When softness has arrived, honor it. When readiness appears, move on. Growth does not mean staying in the furnace forever. It means knowing when to leave with humility and gratitude. The raw fear of the fire. The burnt fears the absence of fire. The cooked understands both and chooses neither. It moves forward, complete enough to serve, humble enough to keep learning, wise enough to rest. O friends, from raw to cooked to burnt, this is not a ladder of virtue. It is a cycle of misunderstanding corrected by awareness. Do not worship the fire. Do not flee it either. Let it do its work, then leave. Life is not asking you to suffer endlessly. It is asking you to become ready and then to live. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next episodes.